reports surfacing today that an Ingram for Sengun swap was rejected by the Houston Rockets. Let's talk about it right now.
Took away. Gas for this. Get your money's worth now.
Presented to you by the Scott Vickner Injury Lawyers. Have you been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, or hurt offshore? Scott Vickner handles it all. Give them a call, y'all, at 504-285-7675 for a free consultation. Yes, a free consultation. They always fight for the win with Chaz, Lido, and Chris on a Thursday night. Also presented to you by Company Bar, located 4600 for Red Street. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification. All three, Chaz, Lido, and Chris, all have incredible shows out right now. Make sure you check that out as well on the YouTube homepage of Boo Crew Media. So, Chaz, we'll start with you first. Hope all is well. There was a report today, pulling it up right now. Reports from Kelly Iko of The Athletic that rumors are swirling about the Pelicans offering Brandon Ingram in a trade for Sengun, but Houston showed no interest. A hypothetical Ingram for Sengun swap was mentioned, but the Rockets have no interest, team sources said. League sources said New Orleans also contacted the Philadelphia 76ers. Chaz, before we get to that, we're going to talk about the 76ers in a whole different segment. First and foremost, you do have a good show out right now. You did a live show on Bleacher Report, but I want to hear your initial thoughts on this Sengun for Ingram swap.
I love the ambition. I love the idea of it. You know, for me, when I see nonsensical trades involving Brandon Ingram, I like, it's like when people compare Jose to TJ McConnell. I like to say, why stop there? Why not think he could be Allen Iverson? Why stop there? Why not think he could be Isaiah Thomas? Why stop there? Like, yeah, Griff, I appreciate the ambition. I like that you're thinking in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? I like where you're going with this. And hey, you got to make the call. If Sengun is even potentially available, you got to make that call because they still have some questions. You know, they're going to have to consolidate at some point. They got a lot of youth going on there. If they happen to make this pick, that's even more youth. They're integrating into a new coaching staff. You know, they're going to build. They're going to bring in some more veterans, and they have a real weird roster situation because there's so many people on. Why stop there? Like,
Well,
yeah, why stop there? There's so many people on that roster who are on rookie contracts, and I think what you're seeing with some of the hey, Nan, how you doing? What you're seeing with some of the, I don't want to call it pushback, but some of the rejection that the Pelicans happen to be meeting, it's kind of like gambling, right? Everyone isn't really a gambler. Everyone isn't like risk adverse. Justin, you've ever seen New Jack City?
I have not.
Okay, and I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, right?
Okay.
But you fellas, y'all seen New Jack City, right?
Yes, of course.
What would y'all say is the most popular line from New Jack City, like between y'all two? Or your favorite line? Let's say your favorite line.
What do you say? It's the
Look this up.
what the fuck is it? Some about making change. I got it once I
$5 down
before I make change. Yeah.
Lido, what you got?
Damn, dog, that's a good
We
question.
got a few CMB. We all we got.
Yeah, see, it's a lot of right. Cancel that bitch out. Buy another one. It's a lot. It's a classic film, right?
That might be my favorite one.
Okay, now this is my favorite one, and this is my favorite one, and this is how I feel about David Griffin and Brandon Ingram.
I gambled on you, and you gambled on a crackhead.
Wait, no, you gotta let it finish. Oh.
I didn't cut it off. Chaz. I didn't cut it off. I think that might just.
I gambled on you, and you gambled on a crackhead.
That's how I feel. We took a chance on David Griffin. David Griffin took a chance on Brandon Ingram. Now everybody's appliances are missing. Every motherfucker's PlayStation is missing. And nobody wants to take this gamble that you took. And here we are.
Lido.
That's crazy.
I like Sengun a lot. I like him a lot. He's a good ball player. No, Chris. I like him as a basketball player. I like him as a basketball player.
No, no,
He's a good basketball player.
That wasn't even pause related. That was more so just you said the obvious. I like Sengun. Like, yeah. I like watching LeBron James. Yeah,
I like good players, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right, I like
Did you think the Rockets just instantly hung up on this Brandon Ingram for Sengun swap?
Yeah, I mean, what's how does this benefit them? Like I don't know. I don't understand how this benefits Houston at all. I mean, some would say in this trade you got a guy who people have labeled as a baby Jokic. Like, how do you go ahead and just trade? He's what, 22 years old?
He's
21, right?
21. Chaz, I texted today. I couldn't believe he's 21 years old. 21.
He's 21 years old. Like, listen, some would say, BI is plateaued in his NBA career. And you pretty much, this is BI, right? There's not much to suggest or give you an opinion that there's another level to his game. You really don't know what Sengun can be or what he will become. Yeah, if I'm the Rockets, I'm like 10 times out of 10 not ever gonna make that deal with you. I'm probably got off the phone and I called the other GMs and I probably laughed at you and the audacity that you had for calling me with such a skimp offer. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's the rest of is this it? Oh, okay. I'll holler at you.
That's the interesting point here, Chris. So what do you think the Pelicans would have to give up to get Sengun?
Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy.
What?
Or Herb Jones.
Okay.
Why you say what like that again? Why you say what like that?
Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy for Sengun?
I mean, look, like, so
it's a lot.
Well, look, I mean, so like Caruso was traded today, right?
Yeah.
All defensive NBA talent, probably all glue guy talent, right? Like if you had an all glue guy like list, he'd be up there. But he's due for an extension. He gets traded today for Josh Giddey. And, I was looking on the timeline and people were like, well, where the draft picks? Right. Well, at the end of the day, Bulls are in a situation where they're obviously not gonna resign Caruso, and whatever team takes him has to, run the risk of him not resigning or him testing the market. That kind of tips the scale a little bit. So, I mean, we've had enough conversations about Brandon to know that plays a role. So you would have to add something else, I think, of value, and it would have to be a player. And off top, the two that I'm thinking about that a team would ask for, and that's even assuming that Houston or any team would be interested in what they think Brandon could be. Like, I think Houston's thought might be different from Miami. I've heard some things about Miami being interested, and some of the players there having the connection with Brandon and thinking that would be a fit. So they may be more interested to where you may not have to give up, as you may not have to attach another player. It could be a draft pick or maybe a lesser player that you're not 100% attached to get something worth the value there. But for Sengun, it's even a question mark as to why they would trade him at this point after the season that he had. So,
and so that brings up an interesting point, Chris, because as Chaz alluded to in the beginning of the show, they have to make some financial decisions. They got Jabari Smith, who I'm very high on Jabari Smith, Lito. I think he's a great player. I've always liked him at Auburn. He had a great.
Whoa!
I had a really nice March Madness run. I really liked his game at Auburn.
I'm not about to say. No, don't do that. Stop.
Love his game in the NBA. I think it's a perfect fit here for the Pelicans, man. I've been trying to tell you about Jabari Smith for a while now. I really like his game. I think he'd be a great fit around the Pelicans. But they have to make a decision, right, between Chaz and Sengun, Jabari, and then are they rumored around Klingon as well? Is that
What? Yeah, that's my understanding. Of course, this time of the year where lies are, that's like saying built bars are delicious. People just lie a lot around this time of year. So, that being said, I mean, you got Atlanta who also has interest in Klingon. I've heard even with Reed Shepard is on Houston's radar, depending on how the draft falls. You know, the Jalen Green emergence towards the end of the year was interesting because it happened when Sengun was out. And that's the thing that kind of leads to some questions. Now, if you're Houston, you're probably like, oh, it doesn't matter what he did when Sengun was out. It matters how our two best players play together. And it matters specifically how our obvious cornerstone in Sengun is complemented by Jalen, right? I don't believe Jalen's a max player, but he's probably going to want max money. Sengun, I think he's pay the man. You know what I'm saying? Like Sengun's nice. Sengun's nice. But see what they're interested in Klingon, that's what makes me believe that Jabari could potentially be available.
And yeah.
What?
Well, I wanted to talk about Jabari, Chaz, but I wanted to address this comment first from Wahab. Like, I understand if you want to get Sengun, you're going to have to include Trey or Herb. It was funny. I was actually talking to Chaz earlier today, and he had proposed. We were talking like, what would it take to get Sengun? And we had talked about, and someone even tweeted at it would be Fred VanVleet, Sengun for Brandon and Herb. Would you do that trade?
You asking me?
I'm asking anybody, the comments or Chaz, Lito, and Chris. Like, I'd be interested.
Why would Houston do that trade?
Why would Houston do that trade? So VanVleet's owed what, $45 million over the next 2 years? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You get Herb Jones, one of the best contracts in the league. Maybe Brandon Ingram's a different ball player in Houston. And then for the Pelicans side, I don't personally love Fred VanVleet. I think Sengun is. I mean, we talk about center of the future. That dude's going to be serious for years to come.
I just don't. I don't get why Houston would move Sengun today. I think that they got to give it another year of trying to figure out, because Jalen Green and Sengun's like the best part of their seasons came where they both were the focal parts of the offense. But it's funny, like they have similar discussions that we have about Zion and Brandon, right? We haven't seen them be dynamic enough together, and part of that is because of some of the clutter that's on the rest of the roster. Jabari, Fred VanVleet, even Dylan Brooks to an extent. Like, and before that, Kevin Porter Jr. Like, I think with them, they got to clear out some of what they're doing, and they owe it, I think, to themselves to see how those two are going to work. It would make zero sense to me for them to trade Sengun. That makes zero sense. Like, I mean, I don't care. Even when we're talking financial implications, they would just link to trading Jalen Green at the trade deadline, and then he had an amazing second half of the year. Then Sengun gets hurt, and Jalen continues and gets better and better. So I would assume, and who knows, I could be wrong and they could trade Sengun, but I would assume, which is why I think this conversation is pointless. I not say you shouldn't make the call. You should definitely, a fool makes a dumb decision every single day, but you should at least, but they more than likely, they owe it to themselves to see, okay, what can we do to make life between Jalen and Sengun work? And is that one of the next dynamic duos? Why can't they look at them and say, damn, how can we model ourselves after Jokic and Murray? You know what I'm saying? Jalen, I think that, we're talking some different players there, but why, if I was Houston, that's what I would be thinking. How can I make this look like Denver? What type of players do I need to put around to get anywhere close to that, and have a 1-2 plus between ultimately my point guard? Regardless, I know Fred VanVleet played point guard, but Jalen should have the ball in his hands, and my center in Sengun. Like, that should be the goal.
So, Lito, let's talk about Jabari then, because if it's not Sengun, we're wasting time on Sengun, and Houston's gonna build around him. Do you think Jabari's gettable? 1 and 2. How do you like the fit with Jabari and Zion?
It's okay. I think I mean, the thing with Jabari is suffering in Houston because I mean, he has Fred now, but like there wasn't a guard to get him involved. He's a pick and pop guy. He's not. He's still a young player himself. He doesn't fully. I don't think he fully has an idea of like his uh his potential as an NBA player. Like he has a while till he comes to maturation as to like what he is going to be. I do think though that he has an idea. I do think there's an idea of him as a five or a small ball five that can flourish in the NBA. He showed good potential protecting the rim for the Rockets when he was placing those spots. For the Pelicans, you talk about floor spacing. You talk about a guy who, I mean, shit, he hit a game winner against you. He won a game on you. You know what I'm saying? Like from three, you left him open. He buried you. So I think the only thing for me is that there's still no guard on this team that could get him involved and get him easy shots either. And a lot of that pressure would be on Brandon and Horizon. Well, Brandon's going to be a Pelican guy. So, anyways, a lot of that pressure is going to be on them to get him involved. And you've seen lapses of, look, the Point Zion thing sounds nice. It's cool. It's a cool little caption, but like, you don't want him to be the full-time guy trying to get everybody, involved. That would have to depend on Brandon because Brandon's going to be on his team. So, like, yeah, man, that's cool. That it's cool. Like, I would not. Me, and you talk. I'm cool with Jabari Smith. I think that'd be an upgrade for the spot.
Lito keeps fading away to the camera. It's like the more and more
the new setup, man.
It's the new layout. Yeah, set it. Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry. Hey, listen. Sengun I saw somebody saying Sengun was overrated. Dog, he had a game against Wemby where he put up 47 and 12. And then he had a game against us where he put up 37 and 11. He had a game against the Lakers where he put up, I think it was 34 and 15. And he had like 7 assists. I don't know what rating system you have to underrate him. Again, at 22 years old, I'm not sure if we're looking at the same basketball, especially considering what the Pelicans have, and you think that is overrated. I don't know.
I think people look at him like some look at Sabonis, and there's one side that thinks that he's the 11th best player from in basketball based off last season. And they talk about the super analytics and all the different ways that he can affect games. And there's the other side that says, well, he can't fucking defend, and people are gonna play him off the floor. So
Chris, we started Jonas Valanciunas. We started.
No. I'm not talking about it in regards to us. I'm talking about that's where that argument becomes him being overrated. But I'm gonna say this: the reason I do like the Jabari Smith element, regardless what Houston does at the draft, if they draft Flanagan, then you definitely got to make the call and force Houston to make a move. And we know New Orleans was really interested in Jabari Smith.
Yeah, good ball player
on draft day beforehand. Good ball player. He's like a baseball coach. But
I'm just trying to piss Lito off.
Right. We gotta get him some tobacco and but I think I look at Jabari in a lot of ways like I look at Evan Mobley in Cleveland. Like I don't know exactly what he is because there's so many different things blocking him from succeeding, right? When you're drafted as high as those guys were, and they both have centers that occupy space, and they have guards that take away the basketball, they just gotta kind of get it how they live. They gotta find a way to impact. They have to go outside of maybe what they thought they would be doing at this next level when they were drafted to succeed. And that's why you see Jabari at the press conference at the finals asking, was was it Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? Basically, how do you rebound after underwhelming or not living up to what you thought you would be, a couple years into your career? I mean, I look at that as someone who's very self-aware, but I think the system around him and the players around him are something getting in the way. I don't know if we can't be sure we've seen anything close to what Jabari Smith is or what Evan Mobley is. So if you're a team right now, guys like that, you should be going after, because there's so many other things in their way. Maybe Cleveland, or maybe, maybe not Cleveland, but maybe Houston might be saying, all right, well, I think Jabari is going to be a great player. We just aren't the team to figure it out right now.
Yeah. And Jabari, by the way, Lito, went from 30.7% his rookie year to 36.3% on the same amount of 3-point attempts. So, I mean, that's a huge jump there from three on pretty high volume there, 5 3-point attempts, 8 rebounds, 13. I mean, he's a spacing five that you want around Zion. So I think the fit's there. But Chaz, you had a tweet today. It said this. Jabari is the one, Griff. I like the ambition, though.
You look at Jabari's defensive, of course, there are highlights, but you look at some of his defensive film, his ability to switch, protect the rim. He played a lot of the 5 when Sengun went down. 3-point ability goes without saying. To me, Jabari is a lesser defensive version of Evan Mobley with a better offense. And we know the Pelicans love Evan Mobley. So really, bizarre. It's like Bizarro World to me. I don't know why they love him so much, but they love Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley's due for a max. Jabari is probably as good, and he isn't due for a max anytime soon. He's still on his rookie scale contract. To me, I think it would be a perfect fit. I've kind of come to the conclusion. I don't know how much Zion necessarily. I mean, if we talk about Zion's benefit, but I don't know how much he necessarily needs a stretch 5. I think he just needs somebody who can knock down an open shot, like once he collapses the defense. But I think with some of the things you've seen with Chet, I think you can see some of that with Jabari. Personally, as a young guy, is going to continue to, as he ages, is going to get stronger. And he's already shown some ability at the rim, and he can guard on the perimeter. He can switch on the perimeter. And if you take into account, you could possibly, if they move with Jabari, you're probably not getting the 3rd pick. Fair enough. But even then, like a person, I think they'd be hard pressed to put forth an argument that, let's say you got Dillon Brooks. Let's say it wasn't Fred VanVleet. Let's say if you wanted to take salary back, let's say you take salary back and it's Dillon Brooks. So Dillon Brooks and what's his name? Dillon Brooks and Jabari. That's about roughly 30 million, maybe. A person would be hard pressed to tell me Brandon is about $20 million better than those two combined. It's just,
not hard pressed. You being nice.
Yeah, like to me, I'm like, why stop there? This
okay.
To me, it's such a silly ass, like, all right, Chris, look, man. I see some people in the chat. They're like, we gotta stop talking bad about this. Look, if I had any power, Brandon would be working at Kangaroo Crunch with Dyson. If I had the juice, Brandon would have been gone. Brandon would be in Toronto.
You have the tweets, Chaz.
Right? Like Brandon wouldn't.
They give us too much power.
Yeah, like
man.
I've been talking about
they
the
give us
same.
too much power.
Yeah, bro. Way too much power. It's like, bro, we talking about the same thing since I've been talking about this since February of 2023. It's like, bro, you reached an impasse where it's like you gotten told by several teams. Now, of course, it's some of it is posturing, but realistically, the only reason the Rockets are even a conversation is because, like, we didn't know they were going to call about Sengun, but it made sense this entire time. I'm talking about Jabari for a minute. We spoke about Sengun in the past, like in private, but it's like there's a team that needs to consolidate. They've gone, after Michael a couple of times. Brandon is about a similar tiered player, and it's like, he's a higher profile player. Why not get him? But That's a no from Cleveland. You know, a no on Sengun from Houston. You don't know what's going on with Philly necessarily. A no from the Warriors, and you have to wonder how much of this is real. Like, how much of this is like, how many of these are real no's?
That's a good point. So look, we as Chad said, I see a lot of comments. I've started a lot of them. We're gonna answer them in the last segment of the show. If you're new here, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. So speaking of Philadelphia, we'll go with Chris first and Lito. So do you believe that Philadelphia is an option as a trade partner, Chris, with the Pelicans? Because a lot of people are like, and once again, Chaz has been on this one for a while now, but like, what does Philly have to offer? Because you ain't getting Embiid and Maxey. You got Buddy. Tobias is gone, right? Tobias is his contract's done.
No, Tobias played for the Pelicans.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. What would a trade, or what would you want from Detroit in a Brandon Ingram package, Chris?
Detroit. Oh, I thought we were
Not
talking
Detroit. Fucking Philadelphia. Sorry.
Nah, I think people are looking at the Philadelphia situation a little wrong. I think if you make a move with Philly, a third team is going to be involved. In fact, I think a third team is going to be involved in almost any Brandon Ingram trade.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Because so Philly would be one of those situations. Like they've cleared all of their they've cleared all of the cap space for trying to make a move one way or another. If they miss out on Paul George, could I see them? Because, like, you know,
was there a report, Chris? I'm sorry, I'm cut you off, but wasn't there a report tonight that they're off on Paul George? Is that right? Or was that?
But do you believe it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
do you believe it? You don't until the draft is here. Because typically that's what we get. Like, outside of the teams that they just say fuck it and just go for it now. Like in regards to making moves, most of the time, like traditionally, we see the draft where a lot of the actual moves get locked in. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, Chung, I won't forget that he said that, and we will revisit that at some point. But hold on. But yeah, I mean, if you're Philly, they will at some point go. What up, Lex? They will be desperate if they don't, because it's a weak free agent class. So if they can't get Paul George, what other options do they have? Because, like, Doug, how many more of these years you think Embiid got before Embiid is just like, all right, I done tried this shit, and listen, I might not have been healthy, but I've been healthy enough. Y'all ain't figured it out. Enough players and went out. I want out. They don't have more of these resets and these mini resets and these and new co-stars and new third stars. They can't continue. Embiid ain't got much longer left in regards to elite shelf life with the injuries he sustains every single year. So it's a lot of pressure, I think, on them to make a move. That is crazy. I think that they're a team where if they miss out on Paul George, then who's the next option? If you can't trade and get Jimmy Butler back, right, you can't get another wing. Brandon Ingram's there.
Right. So then, Lito, what would you want in return from Philly?
If I'm being honest, I'm not interested in anything on Philly's roster. Just like nothing on their roster is like, what do you have to offer? Like,
let's check.
I'm saying it's not a win for the Pelicans in any situation that they're trying to trade Brandon Ingram in. Like, who do you get from Philly? That's
the only person I'm thinking about is
Reed.
Oh shit! I didn't realize. I thought Buddy was under contract. He's an unrestricted free agent.
I'm saying they don't have anybody, so it gotta be a third team involved.
Yeah, I mean, Chaz proposed Paul Reed picks, and that was it, right? Chaz,
that's not it. You get if they can agree to taking Larry, right? Yeah. And you expand it to a third team, that's a $40 million trade exception. So you can absorb, let's say, this is totally hypothetical, but let's just say, for example, the Wizards want to get rid of Jordan Poole. Not that Jordan Poole is some great player, but I'm just saying as far as like asset collecting, you can say, all right, just give me Jordan Poole in 2 picks. You know what I'm saying? Or first. So now you just turn Brandon Ingram into about 3 or 4 firsts. You know what I'm saying? Like with a trade player exception, you can absorb a couple of players into a trade player exception, if I'm not mistaken. So you got to look at the Pelicans, them not being a free agent threat and free agency not necessarily existing how it did in the past. They're going to have to get creative because you got I do believe it has to be a multiple team play because you have multiple roster holes you need to fill. You need offense off the bench. You need a backup big. You need
a big. You need a big in general. We don't have a big. You need a big.
You need big. No, what I mean. No, what I mean is, you need a big.
It's just unbelievable, man. I mean, Leo's in a fucking scarf the other day, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead.
I didn't say you need a big.
My thing is, I feel like you need a starter and you need a reserve. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you need CJ insurance. You might need an actual backup point guard in the event that something happens with Jose if Jose isn't a part of the trade. It's a lot of they have a lot of roster spots they need to fill realistically. They only got about 9 players on the roster, 9-10 players on the roster right now.
Hey, I wanna bring this point up because Chris is talking about Embiid and his health and his likelihood to opt out from Philly at some point. I really want to bring to fans, media, whoever who are paying attention to the Pelican situation. You kind of got a similar situation with Zion Williamson. At some point, you got to think, damn, I'm healthy. I've been, I played the most games I played last year. Like, you got to put some shit around me. I don't want to continue to play with XYZ. You see that's not working. Like, how long do you think that he's going to continue to put up with mediocreness in the roster, right? So me and Chris did a show yesterday, and Griff said, expect really, really, really big changes. And he said really, really 3 times. You gotta own up to those words.
The really. Alito, before you continue, Justin needs to be held accountable. I mean, it's been between the package, between talking about packages and emphasizing how much of a big you need. I don't think it was needed to be said that many times. I think we understood you couldn't stay in the center. Like we get it. So accountability is always here.
Hey yo.
Hey Chris.
Big on accountability. That's fine.
Chris, Justin performed that song 5 times. He think he Kendrick Lamar.
Freak. Like, I mean, like he started getting pissed about it. You need a big. Because
we don't have a fucking center on the roster right now. It's absolutely insane to think about. Like, literally, it's insane to think about. We can't bring back Cody Zeller. I mean,
Larry.
But they about to bring back. They about to bring back Brandon Ingram, man. It's about to happen.
Yeah.
Look. Let me ask y'all something because we all like somewhere in our thoughts of what might happen here. We all know that there is a decent possibility that Brandon will be re-signed to some kind of extension. Like, it's a reality. What are you guys' thoughts about a Brandon extension incentive or heavily incentivized?
No, I don't. I've seen it. I'm done with it. Like, I like Brandon. I've seen it. I'm done. I've seen the Brandon Zion thing. Zion's not going anywhere.
No. I'm not saying. Oh, hold on, Justin. I'm not saying. What do you feel? Like, do you want it to happen, or will you be happy?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying, like, if that's a reality, like, what are your thoughts from there? Not like, are you gonna be estatic or if it's on your big board of things that you would like to happen in the offseason. But if it's a reality, then what?
Yeah.
It's a really good question. I don't know. I mean, then what? Like, you're not a championship contending team. I don't like you. Okay, you win 49 games. You get the 7 seed, 8 seed. You're a play-in team. Like, that's where we're at right now. We saw these two pretty healthy this year. 149 games or the 8 seed. Like, what more? Let me ask you this: what more do you need to see? Because to me, the goal is to win a championship. Some people are just happy with winning basketball games and maybe advancing in a round. Like, newsflash, we haven't won a playoff series in 7 years. Is that right? 8 years?
Yeah.
No, a playoff series. Okay, we're still talking about the Phoenix Suns series 3 years ago. We're still talking about that.
Yep.
I've seen Brandon Ingram lead a team. I've seen Zion Williamson lead a team. I've seen them both play at the same time. It is what it is. I think Brandon Ingram's a good basketball player. I think Zion Williams is a good basketball player. I don't think they play basketball very well together. Like, you can get whatever center you want. It's not going to matter. They occupy the same space. If Brandon Ingram's not become a 3-point shooter, which clearly he showed you this year, he has no interest in doing. I don't know what to tell you.
I just to Chris's to the point of Chris's question, like, that's a real reality though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
100%.
understand.
100%.
Yeah, I understand you may not. I'm not talking to you, Justin, when I said it, but I understand you may not want Brandon Ingram to return. But the thing is like, if you can't offload him and you getting like KJ Martin back, and you know what I'm saying, like in a trade, like what
KJ Martin.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, Sacramento re-signed Malik Monk. Oh, they
4 years, $78 million.
They caved. They caved, but yeah, I think he did. He definitely gave him a discount. But for Malik Monk at this point, he wasn't supposed to get nowhere close to that bag after his first couple of years. So
Chris, would you want Brandon Ingram back on a non-max contract? Like, would you think that'd be a win for the Pelicans?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about a win because I don't think that just the personalities and the play styles of Zion and Brandon match enough to where no matter what you pay Brandon, it's gonna be enough to get you where your destination is, right? Brandon's not gonna come out and do what Karl Anthony Towns did. I mean, there's nothing about BI for him to come out and say, all right, well, look, like, no matter how great I think I am, this is Zion's team. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it would take something like that in combination with him changing his game in one offseason. That's not just like you're talking about him going on a life retreat. That's like he would have to, turn Muslim or like go through like a life-changing experience to like really be like, all right, I'm in a new space now. This is how we're going. I don't see it happening. So no, if I had to sit down and think how it could work, you would have to get an extraordinary center or an extraordinary point guard.
Okay.
And even then, I still be questioning.
What extraordinary center is there available for the New Orleans Pelicans if you sign Brandon? Like, what extraordinary? Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just like, this is the reality of the situation. What extraordinary center or point guards out there? And when would this team ever just lean into Zion Williamson ever? Literally, like, that's my biggest issue.
Would
like,
you?
Would I?
As a business.
Good question.
Take.
If you think about it, but I saw 70 games out of him this year. I mean,
I would expect you to say that. No, for real though.
Because if you really look at it, Chris, like, can you trust him to be the face of the franchise? Like, he still hasn't, bro. He still hasn't played in a playoff game. He hasn't played in a playoff game.
Listen, I would, but I'm crazy. But I mean, I would. It's not the everything about like logically, Chaz, Lito, business wise. If you were in a situation and you had to make the call, just simply based off the circumstance, like the circumstances, the all the events, everything you know about Zion, everything you've seen, eliminate Brandon, eliminate CJ. Would you be comfortable saying, all right, we're building every single thing around you. We trust that it's gonna work. Like if your job was attached to this working, would you be comfortable with that?
I would be uncomfortable, but I do realize it's the only option. And the reason I say that is because ultimately it's like that old story I gave y'all before. It's like, well, if you are you fucking her now? It's like, no. Well, if you go talk to her and she said, get out my face, will you be fucking her then? No. You ain't got nothing to lose. It's like, look, you ain't shit with Brandon. That's what it is. Like, you ain't shit. So, you're a joke of the league. And it's like, only difference between Zion being unreliable or untrustworthy and Brandon is that at least I got a shot with this person. With this person, I'm just spending money for no reason. Like I might as well have set the money on fire because it's like it's hard. I can't use this isn't the right word to use, but I don't really know a synonym or a proper definition for this. Brandon could realistically be considered a bust. Like Brandon, and the reason he's not because he's been in the league so long. He's been an all-star, but that's like, well, fuck. Andrew Wiggins won a championship, and he was the critical part for them winning the championship. Brandon was the number 2 pick, and it's like, and he was the number 2 pick in a great draft at that. All of his peers, with the exception of Ben Simmons, have rings. Siakam was in that draft. Siakam was in that draft, right? He got a ring. Jaylen Brown ring.
Finals MVP.
Jamal Murray ring. You know what I'm saying? Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Yeah.
And when you look at Brandon, it's like, bro, you probably will never be an all-star again. So after witnessing what Philly just went through with Tobias Harris, why would you want to lean into such a terrible thing? Even if it was incentive-based, to me, honestly, we don't really know Brandon's trade value. I think Brandon would have even less trade value if he had multiple years left. Because when I look at the situation with Zach LaVine, and I'm like, well, fuck, if you had to take on about 3 years of Brandon's contract at like 45 million, 48 million going into the 50s, you probably I'm not even answering the phone. Fuck hanging up. I'm not even answering the phone. So that's something I think about as well. It's like, and I'll ask this to the panel. If Brandon was a free agent right now, if he's a free agent, he said, I want a max contract. Do you think the Pelicans would try to sign him for a max contract?
Based on
they don't know him at all. Like they don't know him at all. He's just some guy
with the Pelicans. With the Pelicans, yeah. With the New Orleans Pelicans, absolutely. Yeah, they would. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's because they tried to sign, but here's the thing. They tried to sign Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul to a max. This is a terrible, desperate free agent market. And at a certain point, you can't continue to make decisions like you just this ugly hole. Like you gotta have some self-esteem, some dignity. You gotta let this guy go because what he gonna grow 5 inches taller, he gonna get faster, he gonna shoot 40 from beyond the arc next year on 6-7 attempts. What is he going to do? That's going to convince you that this is going to work if you're the team.
This is also the thing we're not talking about, guys. Like, if we do, just say you get Brandon Ingram, fine. Like, once again, I have to mention this. I can't imagine Trey Murphy is going to want to come off the bench for the 4th year in a row. So if you do sign Brandon Ingram, even if it's to a lesser than max deal, you're then going to just simply piss off Trey Murphy. So like who's more valuable right now? Right now,
You
today.
think so, Justin? Do you think that's because of
Who's starting?
Justin? Let me ask you this before you finish. Do you think that's because you think it's because Brandon's returning, or do you think it's because that probably symbols that he won't be able to start?
He won't be able to start. Who would Trey start over? Herb?
Oh, he's going to start eventually, though.
Yeah, probably Herb.
I mean, look.
When is eventually?
Okay.
When is eventually?
CJ.
Okay.
Clearly.
Won.
Well, no. I'm not saying this year. I'm saying, all right. So here's how I would look at it, and this is me. I'm not saying that he won't be impatient in regards to it, but if you're getting paid over $100 million and you started out at Rice University, and your dad wanted you to go to be an accountant and make $100,000 a year, you gonna pay you gonna play 30, 35 minutes a game. You gonna close games.
Chris.
My thought process. No, but listen though. I'm not saying that he won't be impatient. I'm not saying that he won't be like, fuck, I'm doing this again. Like, God damn, like I need to be started. However, the clear entry path is the end of CJ McCollum's contract. Or CJ McCollum being traded. Now, unfortunately, does that mean you got to wait another year or year and a half? Yes. But will that wait of a year and a half be a lot easier after signing an $100+ million contract? I'm sure it would be.
But I don't think you have to wait out CJ because Herb and Trey are his starting spots.
Well, no, I'm saying if Brandon comes back.
Yeah, so if Brandon comes back, you have Herb Jones for 3 more years, right? Yeah, he signed a 4-year deal last year, so he's got 3 more years left. So Herb's probably in the starting line for the next 2. Brandon, if he signs, I mean, it's hard to predict the future. I'm just saying it's hard to predict the future. But we keep talking about this, bro. Like we keep talking about this. Like, I just want to see Trey Murphy just get the runway. Like I just want to see it, man. Just like how, even though I disagree with Zion, like I wouldn't trust Zion right now because I still haven't seen him be, a guy that's been fully healthy for an entire year and played in the playoffs. Even though he played in the playing game, got hurt, has not played in the playoffs. I'm just saying I would like to see what it looks like with Zion Williamson as the guy, and I would like to see Trey Murphy in the starting lineup. Is that crazy to think?
No.
Yes, Lito.
I wouldn't. I'm with Chaz. I'm not gonna be comfortable having Zion as the lead or the front runner on this team. But what other choice do you have? People come to see him. He box office. He put people in seats. Like you. I don't think you have a choice in the matter of like shit. Like for instance, if you the Saints, right, and Jeff Blake gets hurt, do you want to start Aaron Brooks?
What the fuck?
You want to start him? No. But what choice do you have in the matter? He led you to the playoffs, right? So now you have to pay him. You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain things you don't have control over that you gotta go with. And Zion Williamson, like the pedigree of being a number 1 pick, a generational talent, a superstar, like he got labels on him that nobody else in the vicinity has. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, what did you draft him for, right? Didn't you drafted him to do that?
I can't believe Jeff Blake made
respect Aaron Brooks. Respect Aaron Brooks though.
Definitely respect. Right. See, that's why I just said Jeff Blake, because I respect Aaron Brooks. To be fair, I had a jersey too. So I just can't believe Jeff Blake's name was mentioned. I didn't see that coming, but
as far as the trade thing, I think truthfully, man, and I said it before, I think to me, CJ was always the one who's going to go, right? CJ's always been the guy who's kind of going to go. I just don't see the point in bringing Trey back if you're going to keep Brandon. Because, like, as we kind of seen when Brandon was out, Trey is a guy that needs a lot of runway to take off. Like, he needs a heavy shot diet, needs to get comfortable. He needs to get comfortable attacking the rim. And you're talking about him being, let's say you go get this point guard that everyone seems to think we need, right? Like in the fan base. Okay, so that's another player who has the ball in their hands, pause, and when Trey doesn't. So now Trey's essentially, he might be the 3rd or 4th scoring option But he's never going to be more than a catch and shoot guy in this scenario. You have to force him into a spot where he has to learn to create. Like he has to put the ball on the floor and attack the rim. You've seen him do some of that this year. Like sometimes it didn't go as well, but you saw the willingness to do it. And if you want to maximize him, you have to clear the runway for him. And I just don't see that.
That's what's crazy, Chaz. You've seen Zion and Trey together.
That's the other thing. It's like you've kind of seen them together, and you've seen a lot of Brandon. Like honestly, I think people have seen more Brandon and Zion together than they even remember or like to admit. It's like, bro, it didn't look good in them 29 games Zion played. It didn't look good under Stan Van Gundy. It's never looked good. Like and that's it, just never looked good, bro. And it's but I literally don't know what Trey will be. I don't, but I do know what Brandon is. It's year 9. I know what he is.
So yeah, no, I don't think anyone can.
It's like, bro, he was the number 2 overall pick. He was supposed to be. Let's say he didn't have to live up to fucking Kevin Durant. Let's say if he lives up to being DeMar DeRozan, he ain't even that. He ain't even Pascal. Like that's.
I'll say this, man. The Pelicans at some point they gotta be comfortable with either doing one or two things. They gotta be comfortable with taking a short-term loss, or they gotta be comfortable with taking a risk that looks like a short-term loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, a question mark. And that's the thing with this situation with this franchise, that they just don't do enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might have to take a loss in a Brandon Ingram trade. Or
Griff can't accept it though, bro. Griff can't accept it. He'll never.
But that's ego.
Well, then you know what? I don't know what to tell you. Like, I agree with you, Chris.
That's ego.
I completely agree with you.
Like, at some point, you are going to have to take a risk of some. We've been talking about this for over 2 years now. You gotta take a risk one way or another, especially when you a small market. Big market teams take risk and take chances. What the hell you think you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you put all the pressure. I think one of the reasons that we look at the drafts in the way we do is because it's like the importance of hitting on your draft picks when you're a small market are so higher than they are when you, as opposed to if you're New York or you're LA or something. Like, you got to, because you ain't signed to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know the odds of, even if you trade for somebody and they ain't got enough years yet, the odds of re-signing them back, it may be sketchy. So therefore, you should be looking to take risk all the time with some of these things if the shit ain't working. And that's my problem. I don't care what they decide to do. At some point, they got to take a chance. CJ was safe. Trading for CJ McCollum was a safe move. Everybody could see that coming. Steven Adams, Jonas Valanciunas, signing, trading Derek Favors. Like, all of those moves were safe. They got to, at some point, take a risk for something. They got to, or we're going to continue having these same mediocre conversations, until we all got gray hair or no hair. And Chris, I really don't want to do that.
You said something. You and Leo did a show maybe like a month and a half ago. You're like, this is a big off season. You caught yourself. You were like, we said this the last 3 years is a big off season. Like, at what
every
point,
year big off season?
it just goes to the point. Like, at what point is he going to make some type of move? The CJ will come fine, but if you go look at the David Griffin era, has he made a big splash since the CJ thing? Like, can you name one big move?
He's had a couple. Well, I'm going.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
He's had.
You can't count Anthony Davis. The Anthony Davis thing does not count.
No, what I mean by big moves is he's brought in some name brand players. Like, at the time, Steven Adams was a name. Like, like, far as guys who have a name. He had him. That's a guy with a name. CJ McCollum had a name. But all of these guys were over the hill, or
exactly.
Like they were available for a reason, is like what I mean. And he never really like took the risk on a player that was like a budding talent or a player who may have had some personality issues, because all this good human being shit, like I said last show, you're taking yourself too serious. No one cares about that. No one cares about that. Like at the end, no one cares. What's his name? Boston traded for Porzingis. Huge risk
on a lot of different levels.
And they almost it kind of fucked them in the end because Porzingis got hurt in the finals, and that was the risk. But you were able to do enough because you took other risks. Drew Holiday, held on Derek White. You were able to do other things that supplemented and gave you cushion for that risk.
So then why take a risk? So why, if you're David Griffin, why take a risk if you have job security? I mean, no one gets fired in the organizations anyway. So I mean, what's the point?
Do you want to win? Do you want to win? Because
would you rather
if you got ego? If you got ego, look.
I mean, if I get pocket $6.5 million a year to be mediocre,
okay, but that's the same guy that doesn't want to lose in a trade, right? So you talking about a situation where when you don't take risk, you end up letting Lonzo Ball walk for Satoransky, Garrett Temple in a second round.
Didn't want to take a risk on Lauri Markkanen. Didn't want to take the risk,
right? When you could have traded him at the deadline for Lauri or a bunch of other different players. You end up letting Jonas walk. You end up letting Jackson Hayes eventually walks when you could have traded him at his highest trade value. No matter who knows what that would have looked like, but you had a chance to capitalize on that right then and there. We could be talking. I hope it doesn't happen because I'm a fan of Herb Jones. But 2 years from now, we could be saying, damn, you could have moved that. You could have ended up making a trade then. You could have traded Brandon Ingram, in the previous offseason or wherever when we were talking about Charlotte. And now nobody wants him.
Exactly. So you're literally telling me he's not good at his job. Like literally, you just went through 5 or 6 different examples of just being late to the party. And
I'm
now
not
Brandon
saying
Ingram's
he's not. I'm not saying he's not good at his job. What I am saying is that he's stubborn. I'm saying he's very stubborn in a situation, in a spot, in a market, in a situation where you can't afford to be.
Do you think he's done a good job, Chris, in his 5 years?
Average to below average.
Okay.
Average to below average. I don't think you can say that it's good. I don't think he's done a bad job, but I think he was supposed to do a lot better with what he walked into.
Okay.
So
Lito.
you can't grade it above average.
Okay. Lito, has David Griffin done a good job in his 5 years? Oh, you might be muted. You're muted. You're not doing a good job right now.
God damn it, you son of a gun. You muted me again.
That's a fact, Jack.
Nah, good. Nah, I can't say good. Nah. This is my thing. This is my thing too. Before you move on to Chaz, if 49 wins is the pinnacle of doing good, I can't. I don't. If you sleep well at night thinking that you did good with 49 wins, man,
a lot of people sleeping good. A lot of people are like satisfied with that, Lito.
Year 5, and that's what you hanging your proverbial hat on is 49 wins. Nah, man, that's not good. That's not good.
Okay. Chaz.
Man, it's such a layered question because I think he fucked up for not choosing a clear direction. And I don't know what his directives were. I don't know if he couldn't have pulled the plug totally. I don't know if he had permissions to trade Drew right away. Like, you just don't know, because the Pelicans are the NBA's man. You know what? The Pelicans are the NBA's reformatory school. Guys come here and look, Drew Holiday too. Motherfuckers come here and they just steal money. They steal money for years. And then they go to other teams and they become professionals. That's what happens. So if you're David Griffin and you invested into Zion gets hurt. You invest into Drew underachieves. You invest into Brandon. Brandon's always hot, allegedly. You invest into Derek Favors. Derek Favors got this all kind of shit going on. Then it's like, bro, those players when we got them, we all thought that, oh yeah, they're gonna be all right, like they're gonna do their thing, but they all just grossly underachieved. My issue with Griff is just his unwillingness to pivot and be ahead of the curve. Like, just be a little ahead of the curve. Totally, he's in drafting. He's been awful. I think they're in a totally different position right now if they draft just a little bit better. If they hit on one of Kyra, Jax, or no, everything's different right now.
Dyson.
If they left Dyson where the fuck he was at, everything is different right now, right? Just because now you have an additional attractive trade chip. But the fact that all of these players have failed you kind of failed them, and this it's just a bedrock of losers. It's losers Plymouth Rock. All the losers land.
Because to Chaz's point, Gail, like, you got to look at it. When Griff arrived, he was not the first choice. Okay, he was not the first choice, but when he ended up getting the role that he got, Gail is basically saying, all right, I'm gonna give you full authority to change everything about this organization. The past, you are going to erase the previous 18 years at the time, okay, which went through ownership changes, and a bunch of different shit. It's your job to erase it. And okay, we'll give you a new training and practice facility. You know what I'm saying? Things now, now we're finally gonna have more Pelicans related things versus sharing Saints things versus sharing football related things within the city. But you know what? We want you to change it all in one swing. Now look, he took the job. It's his job to do it, and I think he had the resources. And that's the thing I think that doesn't make sense to me, where I can't give him more than just an average grade, because we've been talking about the same war chest, the same array of draft picks, the same amount of opportunity, the same, when there's a chance for us to take a shot, a chance for us to take an opportunity, we're going to do it. We have a war chest and he hasn't done it. And we keep going. That's why we talking about it's a big offseason every year, because you're wondering at what point are you going to cash in this shit, because you're about to run out of it. You keep hoping on these same other teams failing versus you making it happen. And that's the problem. He got to make it happen. Why are you waiting to seeing what happened in LA or seeing what happens in Milwaukee when it's your job to make shit happen by the day? And at some point he got to do it. And I don't think he's done that enough. You couple that with what Chaz was saying about some of the failures in the draft, and you're in purgatory.
Yep. So look, guys, about an hour in, we'll go about 15 more minutes. We're gonna do all fan questions now, presented to you by Standard Mortgage and Chris Smith Homes. Make sure Chris Smith of Keller Williams is one of the top realtors in New Orleans, located 8601 Leak Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana. For a free marketing valuation of your property, or to book a property tour, or to talk real estate, give them a call at 504-231-2004 or email them at chrissmithhomes.com. Make sure you smash the like button. It helps out the channel. I'm going to start off with this one. I'm going to actually ask this back to you. I appreciate the comment. I'm not here to change anybody's opinions, but let me ask you this. Are the Pelicans better than the Thunder? Are they better than the Nuggets? Are they better than the Timberwolves? Are they better than the Clippers? Are they better than the Mavericks? Are they better than the Suns? Are they better than the Kings? Are they going to be better than the Warriors? Are they going to be better than the Rockets? You think they'd be better than the Spurs? That's 10 teams right there. You think they're going to be better than the Grizzlies fully healthy? That's 11 teams right there. I hope you're right. I'm just saying 6 seed next year. Like, people are forgetting how good the Spurs are going to be this year, especially in the offseason. You got Victor Wembanyama, a lot of cap space. How good is Denver going to be? Golden State's going to probably reload. Phoenix had a down year, but I expect them to bounce back. Memphis is going to be fully healthy. There's a lot of teams out there. Top six might be pushing it. Let's see. Lito, did you see Jose's IG story the other day?
Yeah, man. As a former NBA player, I know exactly what that means. No, I have no clue what that means. Yeah, I saw it. More than likely, maybe the team told Jose they're not exercising their option on him, and he will be a free agent. I have no idea. I'm not sure. Best of luck to Jose in his search for a new team. If that's the case, appreciate everything that you did. Grand Theft Auto forever.
Can I say something about that, please?
Sure.
Yeah, I just want to say we talking about Jose Alvarado, bro. Like when I as soon as I hit send on Twitter yesterday, I said I'm talking about a fucking fringe NBA player. Like I'm talking about a motherfucker. If this was 2003, we'll be playing and one basketball right now with Alamo, the AO, and the hot sauce. Like would not be in the league. And this is who I'm really talking about. Like in my mind, I have to think, damn, if the Pelicans moving on from this fringe NBA player, maybe that signals a big move. And it's like, come on, bro. Come on.
Jose's
Yo,
had some
like,
good moments here,
People
Chaz.
was upset. People was upset yesterday, Chaz. They was upset.
Bro, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Chris, BI and TM3 for Trey Young.
God damn. I do it.
Ooh.
I do it. I wouldn't want to do it, but it's the only way. But that's the only way that they would signal that they're taking a risk, and that's a reset of sorts. That's we're trying to recalibrate this situation, and we're Chaz said pivoting. Like that's clearly fucking pivoting. It doesn't get any like that's. You don't want to move Trey Murphy, and you're making that move just to acquire Trey Young. Now, Pelicans, Nola, that will not happen. Trey Young will not be a New Orleans Pelican. There's no way in hell, as long as David Griffin is still breathing, that Trey Young will be a Pelican. I can promise you that. However, I wouldn't want to make that happen. I would much rather you say B.I. and Herb, but if I had to do it, just because of what it says to me and what it might do for Zion, I rock with it.
Wow. I'm shocked. I don't think I'd do it. I'll think about it. Chaz. Brook Lopez is a stopgap at the 5.
Why stop there? Why not get Robin Lopez too? How? Right. Like that's the thing. You gotta trade Brandon. You're not getting none of this shit. You ain't getting nothing. From here on, nothing goes down unless I'm involved. No blackjack, no dope deals, no nothing. A nickelback gets sold in the park. I want in. You're not getting nothing. Do you understand that? Nothing. Nothing. What the fuck?
Wahab. Wahab's a good one. We'll go with Lito.
What up?
Is there a possibility where you see Willie Green drop Herb to the bench and have Trey start?
No.
Why?
I mean, when have you seen him do that in the like? We going off behavioral characteristics of past seasons. I have no reason to believe that a leopard will change his spot in the 2024 season. For what reason? He started Herb as a virtual unknown, maybe to the common fan, but you know what I'm saying? Like he started Herb day one. He's not gonna move Herb Jones out of the lineup. Why would I do that when I can just add more defense?
I'm starting to laugh because not talked about enough is, obviously the Tony Snell substitution, the Kyra Lewis thing, but the weekend Trey Murphy had an all-star weekend last year or 2 years ago. He comes back from all-star weekend and he starts Josh Richardson
Yeah.
over Trey Murphy for 3 straight games. That was
including the Lakers game. You needed to win when D'Angelo Russell was the best fucking player on the court. It's come on, man. Not
Chris. Who do you guys value more, Trey Murphy or Herb Jones?
Ooh,
That's a good question.
that is a good question.
Really good question, Alex.
Trey Murphy.
Ooh. Why?
Because Herb's gonna have to show me that the shooting that all right, put you like this. I'd argue in Herb and Trey came into the league at the same time. I'd argue that Herb Jones has been the better overall player.
I don't think that's an argument. I guess that's
it's not an argument. It's a fact, right?
Yeah.
What did Herb get paid?
55 mil.
What is Trey about to get paid?
A lot of money. 140.
There you go. The league values Trey Murphy more than Herb Jones. It ain't just me. That's the league.
That's fair. Lito? Or let's go Chaz and Lito.
I don't like when Chris make good points.
Man, I like Herb a lot, but I think Herb is grossly overrated. I think Trey Murphy is far more valuable than Herb, just because I did not see a Herb Jones in the entire playoffs. I just didn't see it. Maybe you could say Derrick Jones is close, maybe, but I just didn't. I just did not see it, man. And I like Herb a lot, but I just didn't see it, bro. And at this age, I don't know how much Herb has left to give, especially under this coaching staff. Like under different coaching staff, I think Herb could do more. But nah.
Do you think Herb's offensive game can improve any more in this current situation?
Yeah, absolutely. What you said? The current situation?
Yeah, current situation?
My bad. I didn't let you finish the question. No, not at all. I think I think it's already peaked. He's not, like, if he shoots 40% again, then I'll be wrong. But as soon as he drops down to 38, then the bloom is off that rose. You could just move on. Like, fuck.
Lito, am I crazy to think we took a step back this year from Hazel?
Like, are you saying that we take a step back like this year that's about to happen from 49 wins? Because if that's what you're asking me, no, I don't think that's crazy at all. Matter of fact, I think that, once Brandon Ingram returns and you return the same team with Larry Nance, I don't think that's pretty spot on, Hazel. I think you probably about to see a regression in a lot of things. You saw OKC team today, still one of the better defensive players in the league for a bag of peanuts. So yeah, unless Griff holds that really, 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 unless he, comes through in that manner, then yeah, you're gonna see some regression.
And Caruso's also shot 40% from deep last year.
Yeah.
Good play by OKC. Ooh, Chris Jovic.
I don't want that one. Hold on.
You don't want that one. You're picking your own questions now.
Yeah, you damn right I am. This is the one I like. I think this is a good question for everybody.
Question.
It's fucking Sam Cassell, man.
Ooh.
All right. I wanted Jerry Stackhouse to be on this damn I wanted Jerry Stackhouse to coach the damn team, to be head coach. Didn't happen. Cool. Sam Cassell, if Borrego leaves and Sam does not go to Los Angeles, which I hope he does not do, and Sam don't go anywhere else, I would love him to be what Borrego was supposed to be, or even if he just takes Borrego's role on this team. Sam Cassell is it for me.
What makes you think Sam Cassell would leave Boston and come to New Orleans?
Maybe because he could view that as a similar role, if not a higher role, and a spot to where if something fails within his contract, he immediately would get a chance to have a head coaching position with the team.
Interesting.
Because he's been a damn assistant coach for like 11 years now, pretty much since he retired, and has not landed a head coaching job. His best shot might be an interim role, and then go into being.
Has he ever interviewed?
Yeah, Sam has. Yo, and Sam got a resume, man. And I ain't talking about as a player. I'm not talking about as a player. As a player, I believe he has either 2 or 3 rings. Now he has a championship ring as a coach. So that's alone. That's by itself. But yeah, he's interviewed.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Thought I'd say, but Bickerstaff.
Say it.
I like Bickerstaff.
God. Why?
Why?
I
mean, he goes to the playoffs. Like, what do you mean? Like, I like him as a coach.
I mean,
you don't think he's done a good job over the last 2 years in Cleveland? You thought he deserved to be fired this year? Did you think he deserved to be fired?
No, but I think he got the shot.
He dealt with injuries, rookies.
He got the opportunity.
And you're saying you wouldn't want to add him on the staff?
Just what I want. I
like
Sam
Sam.
Cassell. You can't change my mind, man.
Well, I said I want Bickerstaff, but you just fucking.
All right. Yeah, you're right. All right.
Lito, go ahead, then Chaz.
I like Chris's answer with Sam. I mean, Sam been around a long time. He's supposed to get a shot at some point to be a head coach. I don't know what the NBA got against Sam right now, but probably Sam, or I'm trying to think of who's another like coach. What about
what about Vogel?
No. What about I'm sorry.
Who doesn't want a world champion head coach? Who? Gosh.
Retread. What about like somebody like a Kevin Ollie or like Jay Triano, like somebody with like experience in college who had like major success, but you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But I think somebody like that. Like I'm tired of seeing retread coaches. That's why I said no, Justin. Like I don't.
That's fair.
I don't want it. I don't want any more retread.
That's fair. Chaz.
This is going to be pretty controversial, but I just have to say it. I want someone with a hint of racism. I don't want nobody here being nobody's friend. I want to stand back. What's wrong? Go run some fucking laps. I want that. I don't want yo, my brother. Nah, fuck all that. I'm tired of all that. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's enough.
Chad, what you don't want one more time? What is it?
I want my brother. Yo. I don't want none of that. I don't want no type of camaraderie. No type of. I understand what you're going through. I don't want none of that. I want a coach. I don't want nobody fucking friend. Nobody wiping nobody's face. I want his iron. What the fuck? Did you eat everything in craft services? I want somebody like that. I want a dog, because the dog ain't coming from nowhere on the roster. Give me a dog on the bench. I don't want none of these cool ass former player like you. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. If you wasn't a dog as a player, like the exception would be like Rondo. That's the exception, right? I want a Bobby Knight, violent motherfucker who you got to check this motherfucker's emails to see how crazy he like. Is he crazy like that? Like he didn't say that, did he? Like I want that kind of coach. Yeah, I want John Root. I want to pull your pants up, coach. I want to pull your pants up. Hey, cut that jungle music off. Pull your pants up. It's time to practice. That's the coach I want. Justin, Justin not even here. Hold on. Let me do this. That's the kind of coach I want. That's the kind of coach I want, bro. Because I'm tired of all this playing around like we all homies and shit. Oh, I went to Devontae Graham's house and made him some cookies and told him you can't play no more. Nigga, fuck all that. Fuck all that, man. Get a real professional in the building. Joe Mazzulla not here to play with these people. I think Joe Mazzulla give a fuck. Like, damn, Jason Tatum, your stomach hurt today. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck. Joe Mazzulla don't care. Like,
Heard that jungle music. Oh,
man, nobody don't hear all that bullshit. Nobody won't hear all that bullshit, man. It's like, come on, man. Nobody don't hear all that bullshit. Get some winners in here, man. Fuck all that. How far you gonna lean into something? How far you gonna lean into it? Like, as far as like, yo, it's the family, you know. We all get together and watch The Lion King, and we sing the Kumbaya. Man, fuck all that weird ass shit. Y'all biting each other, playing grab ass, playing all kind of weird games around here, man. Fuck all that. Let's get some Republicans in the building. Get some crazy people. Yeah, come on, man. What is this? What is this?
All right. You know what? Perfect time. Take a commercial break. Hold on.
Company Burger is the official burger of Pro Pels Talk and Boot Crew Media. Located at 4600 Ferret Street, Company Burger has been locally owned and operated for 11 years. Grind the meat, bake the buns, make the mayo, get the homemade tots. Company Burger uses Creekstone Farms prime beef to create the best burger in the city with milkshakes to go and a full bar. Company Burger is open every day besides Tuesday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Can't make it out? No worries, we have you covered. You can order online right now at thecompanyburger.com or check them out on the Toast or Uber Eats app. Company Burger, the official burger of Boot Crew Media.
No,
Justin, don't.
Milkshakes
Guys,
to go.
I'm just reading. I'm reading what is said to.
I would kick open the door to the Oval Office and I would chop that motherfucking desk in half.
Chaz went on an epic rant. Do y'all want to talk about the JJ Redick to the Lakers or?
I don't think that there's anything to follow. I think the show needs to. I feel like if this was like a comedy set, Justin, this might not be for you, but like Bernie Mac just went. Like, you just gotta just end it now. Like, there's no there's no following.
Perfect. No 5 seconds with Lito, none of that shit.
Let's just smash the like button. We'll have the show. All right, thanks, guys. See y'all Sunday.